If people know exactly what is going on, they will not approve that tax reform.
What's it
Because there are some landmines embedded in it that Tinubu does not want to tell us. What he's trying to do is to secure the approval from the National Assembly. Then he will now bring out his real intention. The same intention he had with Lagos State when he brought Alpha Beta. There is no other way, because there is a clause there that a private concern will collect the tax for Nigeria.
That clause inside.
Yes, they are going to tax and tax and tax. And then you and I will be the one to pay, because those people will now, when they meet their target, they will now look for extra profit and extra profits. That's the truth. Already look at what's going on at the coast now. In fact, most importance are relocated out of Nigeria. People will even support Tinubu, because you cannot say you don't want alcohol and you're making profit out of the same alcohol. But he put it there, maybe use it to convince the gullible. It's like a joker. So that when you see that, yes, why should they not be benefiting from that? Yes, it's good. That's the only thing they're looking at to oppress us. That is the only thing.
But why a presidency would they insistent on a tax reform bill where lots of people they say they know more? Why would they? Why would they say they resolution? You know, the president for a chat say the bill don't come to stay. So why would they say would they insistent on it?
Because he has a private agenda.
My people, Toli don land. Tinubu tax reform bill don dey shake ground for the country. Them say the bill go, change how we dey pay tax, bring better money for government and make economy strong. But he get as he be, why President Tinubu dey push the bill like say tomorrow no day? E be like say he get wetin dem no wan make we sabi. Yeah, e be like say wahala dey underground and e go affect everybody, whether you be business person or worker or just normal Nigerian. So for this video now, Barrister Darlington don come out, come throw more light, as in on the bill matter. So in talk say make we celebrate that the bill is going to affect the northerners more than other regions. So he's trying to say that President Tinubu is going to replicate what he did in Lagos concerning this bill, that is going to affect all the Nigerians, that we should not be carried away by all the alcohol bill and all that, that the way they are presenting it is not the way they are going to go about it, and if they finally succeed with the bill. So I go allow you to watch the video so that you guys will understand better. But before then, make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you are new to this channel, turn on the notification bell so that you don't go miss any of our updates. Like the video so that YouTube will recommend it to others, and drop your opinion on the comment section.
Welcome to Precious AUTV. We always sit my belly today, and I did here with my partner in crime for inside the business, Barrister Darlington. Why are you laughing like your partner in crime? Why you not my partner in crime? No. Do you want to deny me, Barrister Darlington?
No, I'm not a
You're not a crime committer. No, not criminal. You're not a crime committer. No. You follow me, or whether you like it or not. So then you take this business together. This business of working Nigerians, want to make them woke. Let them be woke. Say I like to be Gen Z, so I get to use some Gen Z languages. So Barrister Darlington, the presidency don't come for the Bauchi State Governor Bola Mohammed because of an objection of the tax reform bill. Say in fact, like irresponsible politics in the place. Instead of to think of how life would be better for Bauchi people and what we don't do for Bauchi people. Saying in Bauchi people we follow for the poorest people for Nigeria. In they object the good reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Barrister Darlington, what make it to say they're very important? What make it to say this tax reform bill is very important for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, especially at a time when you say you don't come more subsidy, you don't increase the electricity tariff, you don't float the naira. People not feel hold their hand for this one way they do. Remember, see that National Security Advisor money when they say they pay for inside every transfer. They don't already serve the cyber security levy. They don't already put them into. If you also look, other taxes they will not increase. In fact, if you buy the NEPA bill now, Barrister Darlington, you will realize you they pay tax inside your NEPA bill. So with all these bills, we don't the whole Nigeria's left and right and center. And they normal say make you just let people breathe first before you begin to think of adding more bills. Now, why this tax reform bill is very important to the presidency. A lot of people don't criticize them, but a lot of people say, oh, now good idea, especially because nobody benefit from the alcohol way they say then they destroy. But that's the only good thing where people supposed to be happy about these tax reform bills. Or you think say they're waiting the north, they see will make them really don't want this tax reform bill at all. Apart from the fact say they don't want they want to continue to benefit for things where they don't get interested in.
Thank you, Precious.
Thank you, sir.
It is said that my people perish for lack of knowledge. If people know exactly what is going on, they will not approve that tax reform.
What's it?
Because there are some landmines embedded in it that Tinubu does not want to tell us. What he's trying to do is to secure the approval from National Assembly. Then he will now bring out his real intention. The same intention he had with the Lagos State when he brought Alpha Beta. There is no other way, because there is a clause there that a private concern will collect the tax for Nigeria.
That kind of clause inside.
Yes, there is, because nobody has been named there. Say the private concern, all these things that they are talking about, we have not seen the end of it. It's just that they are showing it on the surface. At the back end, something is going to give. And that is why what some of us saw and said no, because Tinubu used the same template with Lagos State. He used it with Lagos State, with Alpha Beta. And you and I know where Alpha Beta ended up. Was it a success? The answer is no. Rather, it became a conduit pipe. So, why do you think that all of a sudden Tinubu will change? Everything he's doing at the federal is what he tried in Lagos and succeeded. And now he wants to replicate it at the federal level. That is why some people are against this tax reform. Let him come out clean and tell us what exactly is the intention here.
Okay.
Because those taxes will not help anybody. Quote me, the poor will become poorer with those taxes, because when you remove subsidy, when you floated the naira, when you remove subsidy on electricity and other things that you remove and the subsidy, please, how did that help the poor? Is it this particular tax now that will help the poor, for God's sake? Somebody whose salary does not solve the problem, is it overtime that will solve the problem? So I don't believe that this tax reform will bring any succor. They don't use that what do you call it, VAT, to blackmail the North. But there are other things, because you remember there are four of them. Four of them or in one first swoop. You brought 4 tax reform. Let people read between the lines and see what is there. Something they embedded inside that you and I may not even see on the.
So, by the you really did sure see this private consortium or something would be collect tax, like you see react to Alpha Beta. You should say why people did too short that kind of thing would inside, because this Lagos is different from national. Why did you see that kind of thing would inside?
My dear, it is something you want to replicate. Because his neck will always be long. I tell you that this man loves money. The more money he gets, the more he will regret, the more he will want. So it is in his DNA. He loves money.
Alright, so by personality, we could look at another aspect. There is some gossip they made around. People they allege, they talk saying, for some agencies, them like customs, and then other people they not stop to the collect levy. Say, so for those people then say maybe we fit even get contracts with like a Chinese company, for instance, so they collect the levy on behalf of the customs themselves for federal government. And say when they collect this levy, they will just give them benchmark like every month to see your target to where you get. So if you pass your target, that one will profit. If you don't reach your target, you must give us the amount of money. If this kind of thing are true, where people don't go see they go, what's the implication of this kind of thing to Nigerians and in the cost of goods and services generally? Because understand this will be import dependent country.
Let me ask you a question. Have you asked yourself why Anglo, being a non-state actor, is very active in Lagos? Do you know that it's the same thing they did with them? They provided an app. The state government provided an app where bus drivers will pay 800 naira a day, and it will enable them to work for that day and enter any local government to carry and drop passengers. But what happened? The Anglos killed it. That did not see the light of day. So the state government, for reason best known to them, is like the Anglos now, they are now remitting money. And in the process, that's why the cost of transportation is so high. But they want to make their own money and make that of government. That particular plan failed. Anglos killed it. That's why the cost of transport is very high in Lagos. So it's the same thing that's going to happen in all these areas that Tinubu want to bring private consortium to be collecting tax for Nigeria. Yes, they are going to tax and tax and tax. And then you and I will be the one to pay. Because those people will now, when they meet their target, they will now look for extra profit and extra profits. That's the truth. Already, look at what's going on at the port now. In fact, most importers have relocated out of Nigeria.
And they say the cost of importation don't triple.
I'm telling you.
4 times, sir.
So where is the money going to?
From importing a container for less than
for 4 million naira.
4.5 million to now importing at 22 million naira.
Of course. So and you are asking me how our cost of goods and services so high. So when this man is telling you that his reform will be useful, is it this cost of things that you have jacked up everywhere that will now come down? I don't understand. Will it not come down and the prices will not come down with it or what?
All right, so President,
it's not possible.
Going to the response of the presidency to Bola Mohammed, how do you see, their response to Oga Bola Mohammed, the Bauchi State Governor?
It is not proper for them to respond in such a manner. Rather, they should show understand. They should convince the man and most Nigerians that they meant well. They meant well. That's the operational word here. They meant well. Look, if they have tinkered with the only VAT and then show deep concern, people will even support Tinubu, because you cannot say you don't want alcohol and you're making profit out of the same alcohol. But he put it there, maybe you need to convince the gullible. It's like a joker. So that when you see it, yes, why should they not be benefiting from that? Yes, it's good. That's the only thing they're looking at, oppressions. That is the only thing.
But why a presidency go dey insistent on a tax reform bill wey lots of people dey say they no want? Why he go dey? Why we be say they dey rosary? You know, the president for in charge don say the bill don come to stay. So why he be say we dey insistent on it? Because
he has a private agenda. Yeah, if the people say they don't want this, why not drop it? I remember when Jonathan wanted to rename Unilag more like. The people protested and said, look, this place was established by Act of Parliament. You cannot just change it because you want to contest the election. And the man dropped the idea. The man dropped and said, in that time, Unilag has been existed. So this tax reform, it will not bring any support to anybody. Rather, it will impoverish the people the more. I just told you now how many items that Tinubu have removed subsidy on. Where are the benefits? Precious, as I talk to you today, the Minister of Finance, what they do, was having a session with the National Assembly. They called you, come and explain this subsidy. Where is the money? The debt you are servicing, how is it being done? This is because they asked in the open. The man now said, no, this thing cannot be discussed in the open. Let us go and talk it inside the room. I'm not going to
off your mic. Make also off our mic here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, President. Since all of us the off mic on the country, and make off your mic here, make Nigerians they use their mouth comment and talk whether the kind of country they want to be.
I wanted us to focus on the tax reform bills, and during that interview also the president came out very strong on that issue and said that there is no going back.
Yes.
So my first question to you is that what do you consider to be the rather more germane issues in that tax reform bills from your own
analysis of
this?
So first of all, again, with the lack of specifics, the president spoke really aggressively about the tax reforms, but there wasn't specifics. And these are 4 bills, by the way. I expect the president to really dig into the bills and actually connect it to how it helps, different classes of Nigerians. But for me personally, I think that the most, absurd introduction to these, to the tax system in Nigeria is the increase in the VAT regime itself, the rate itself. I know that the governors are arguing about the derivation and the collection and all of that. That might be an issue, but my own primary issue is the rate itself. The argument is that the rate should actually reflect the global average. But when you look at the global average, when it comes to the minimum wage, living standards, when it comes to GDP per capita, you see that, we're not quite close. So if we're not close, I don't see how we will suddenly use, that metric for the VAT mechanism. I think that, going by that analysis, it should actually be reduced to maybe 5% or 3.5% because, it's probably, closer to our reality in terms of our GDP per capita, in terms of the earning capacity of Nigeria. So I don't think any bill, any tax rate that is increased now helps Nigerians. And you have to understand that in VAT particularly, they argue is a consumption tax. So it means it is actually the citizens who actually pay it at the end of the day, the final consumer. Right. The companies who actually help the revenue service to collect and remit, that is their duty. Yeah. It is actually you and I who pay. And the argument is that the VAT-intensive sectors are non-essential sectors. So they have exempted essential sectors like food and all, agriculture. Yes, true, yeah. But these exemptions have existed since, by the way, and there was a modification order in 2020 that enlarged it. The recent argument is that some of the exempted items have been moved to a flat rate instead. I'll come back to the flat rate argument, but even the argument that these products are non-essential. You know, if you look at the top 10 VAT-intensive industries, you see telecommunications, general ICT.
Right.
You would see the manufacturing sector. You see the financial sector. All these banks.
Right.
You know, so I don't understand how you want to move an economy into the future. When you look at, you know, one of the aspects of their policies, modern economy, and you're saying that telecommunications is not essential, so people should pay VAT on it. And if you tell Nigerians to pay VAT on MTN, Airtel, Etisalat, Glo, to pay on First Bank, Union Bank transactions with the electronic money transfer levy and all those things, taking it off Agbalumo and lettuce in the street doesn't help anybody. It's just finesse. Only big companies can actually, you know, utilize the impute VAT mechanism. What it really means is that, okay, if you're in these sectors, these exempted sectors or these flat rate sectors, for all the money that you spend in buying your own products, your own inputs, you know, to do your output with, some of the products you have to pay VAT on it. So you're expected to calculate that VAT, and then, you know, maybe when you're paying your tax or maybe with the Nigerian Revenue Service, you send it to them and you get a deduction. And that is supposed to prevent you from, you know, passing it on to the consumers. First of all, there's no mechanism that prevents it. So it is arbitrary. It's at the discretion of this company. Secondly, you have to understand that VAT, and if you look at the, you know, industries that actually generates VAT, you see that it requires serious formalization. You have to actually have, you know, proper invoicing system so that you make your returns. So it is actually only those, you know, companies under the flat rate who have these systems who can benefit. And you can't even measure whether they didn't even pass it on all the same. So the small companies who are exempted in the first place, you know, don't even have these mechanisms. If you look at the report, you see that about 93, 94, 95% of Nigerian companies are small companies. They are informal companies. So they don't even have invoicing systems such that they can, you know, calculate their input VAT. They will use the local system. I paid this amount and I'm going to charge this amount because it covers this and I think this is my profit. Nothing about the input VAT mechanism. So it is the same companies, big companies, you know, who can benefit from them. I don't see how there's nothing in the provision in the laws that actually helps the common man and small companies.
But what about the fact that pay taxes and everything is already actually almost removed for people who are considered to be vulnerable and low income?
Yeah, it's just removing what was in there.
Even small companies too. If you don't make more than, if you make less than 10 million, I think you don't have to pay it.
No, it says that, you know, if you have a turnover of 50 million naira minimum, and then you have, you know, at least 250 million naira in asset, you know, in fixed asset, you know, then you are a small company. That is in the proposal. But in the current law, if you are turning over 25 million naira and below, you're already exempted as it is.
In the current law, yeah.
Yes, so you have to understand that, yes, for the majority of them, it is an exemption that already exists.
But it's now enlarged.
Yes, to 50 million naira.
Yeah.
Here comes the problem. In the current system, 50 million naira to 100 million naira are usually medium companies, right? Or rather 25 million naira to 100 million naira medium companies, right? These medium companies pay, in turnover. These medium companies pay a 20% rate of CIT today. Today, as it is, they pay a 20% rate. So if you bring the minimum down, you increase it to 50, it means companies 50 and below will not pay anything. But companies 50 and above, even companies that used to pay 20% between 50 and 100 would have to pay 27% and then 24% and then the final 20%. Right. So their tax actually increases and then comes back to what it is today.
Just to deepen your analysis, don't you agree that, or basically this is an empirical fact, that Nigeria is among the lowest tax to GDP countries in the world?
It makes sense. So
if you try to, if we are not getting enough internal revenue that we ought to get, don't you think that we have to structure quite a few things, to take care of that?
I absolutely agree.
Those who can pay.
I absolutely agree that we need a new tax system, without a doubt. And those who can pay, who should pay, should pay. There's no doubt about it. But all the arguments that I'm making so far is that in the current framework, those who can actually pay are told to pay lesser. That is the reduction of company income tax from 30% down to 27%, and then, I think down to 20%. Only big companies actually pay CIT. If you look at the exemptions, the small companies and all these things. And if you look at the companies that actually pay more CIT, they are the same companies that actually make more profit in Nigeria as it is today. There's only a few industries that actually post profit. And these same industries are the ones who, pay the higher CIT. So they're saying reduce their CIT for them so that we can attract similar companies.
Yeah.
Right? So that's that on one side. So that's a reduction on that side. And then you see VAT. And that is why VAT is a very burning issue for me. That the consumers pay. That I have to pay on my recharge cards, I have to pay on my bank transfers, I have to pay, it goes up. So
okay.
It doesn't align with, what they claim.
All right. Now, but besides VAT, do you have any other, critical views about the four tax bills?
Oh, definitely, especially from a legal standpoint. There's a section in the Nigerian Revenue Service Bill that says that the laws themselves, or rather the Nigerian tax bill itself, that says that the provisions of the act itself supersedes the provisions of all tax legislations in Nigeria, whether it is from the state government or by the local government. So it's actually clearly states that it is all tax laws in all the tiers of the government. That is the word, in the tiers of the government. So obviously it seeks to infringe on the constitutional powers of states and local governments. And I think that this is just going to lead to protracted litigation. Already there's a portion of the law that they have already struck out. That is the portion on gaming and gambling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court held that this is under the domain of state governments, and it is part of these proposed bills. So already parts of them are being chunked out. So if they proceed to court, this is how I feel like these things they're going to lead to these things, and that's just one issue. I really also have an issue with the powers that the Nigerian Revenue Service are going to get, especially with regards to the arbitral usage of all institutions, including law enforcement institutions, that is the police, the EFCC, and everybody, to go after tax defaulters. Now, I understand the reasoning behind it, but this is Nigeria. There ought to be a check of some sort.
But they normally have tax tribunals.
Yes, tax tribunals are different issues. Now, the law says that, if they intend to, if they want to, either to go into your house or your documents, because it allows them, or whatever it is, they can use the services or of these institutions, and we know how these institutions operate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim Wali, for those very deep insights. At least we both agree that we have to find a way to collect more taxes, because our country is
from those who can pay.
Yeah, for those who can pay. And then the tax ID thing, it ought not to be a concern, but I understand.
And that's a vulnerable part of Nigerians that shouldn't need these things, because you don't know compliance. You don't just this are and there are penalties to failure to do these things.
No, but the thing is that if you don't have income, even if you have a tax ID, if you don't have significant income, you're not supposed. It's not going to matter.
That's the thing. Even for all those flat rate, exempt, and this, you are actually expected to comply, to send in a
report
that says that you are exempt zero. That it in itself is cumbersome, and
Ibrahim,
if you fail to do it, they can come through your tax ID, provide the police.
Ibrahim, that is the global standard.
This is Nigeria. Yeah, we have to contextualize our laws.
No, but it's important. If you don't take some of this, and I take your insights quite very useful. But there are things that we just got to do.
But we have to fear there are classes of people that should.
No. What I think we should do, in my view, is that you just make sure that this thing we will all be alert when it's being implemented. We can't say that people shouldn't. I mean, we need to have everybody's data. All these things are.
We have their NIN, we have their voter's card. They are literally.
Well, you must have their tax ID. Look, if you live in the US, so I live in the US, and when I was here, let me just get it. So I left the US in 2015. I had to come and take a job in Nigeria for 8 years. I still had to be reporting. Because I have assets, I still have to be reporting, even though I was not earning money. So all of these things, they are good for
tax updates from my time in the UK. But now the thing is, I would agree to maybe a proposition that says that immediately you get your first employment, you are eligible. You must get a tax ID and failure to do it, blah, blah, blah. But to say that every single Nigerian at all times, I don't think that it is contextualized.
Anyway, thank you so much. It's a very good place to conclude that discussion. Thank you for coming.
It's always my pleasure.
And thank you for your contribution and your very brilliant insights.
Thank you so much.